What's up, y'all? It's Chief Domain, aka Chief Furious Red. Back at it with another lesson for y'all. Before I start my lesson, I would like to send out peace and positive energy to the goddesses, the beautiful, sexy goddesses here on the land. I would like to send peace and positive energy onto you, um, onto your lovely souls and your hearts and your spirits. I would also like to send peace and positive energy onto the gods as well. Peace to the gods. Peace to the to the beings that are not made uh, the way I'm made or have the abilities that I have. I would like some peace uh, onto you as well. I would also like to send peace and positive energy, most importantly, onto the ancestors. Um, because the ancestor energy works through us all. We just have to be in tune to allow them to speak through us. Right? So the ancestors honor me by giving me the information because they see that I'm doing my spiritual work. That's how you get to the place you need to be. And this is how they communicate with you when you're doing your spiritual work. So, light some peace onto the ancestors. Um, I'll also light some peace and positive energy onto the lost souls, the souls that are unaware of who they are or what they need to be doing right now. I'll light some peace and positive energy onto them as well. I would like to send peace also to the planet and say I'll share. um, so basically, I'm gonna be talking a little bit about metaphysics. I've already talked about this shit before. You could go back and look at one of my videos I made. It's titled "The Life of Metaphysics." It's the 3-hour lesson. Right? I've talked about this shit before, but it's more information that I have to metaphysics that I need to express. So basically, because when you get into metaphysics, metaphysics is a branch of all different type of shit. They will tell you religion, right? Getting into certain states of matter and putting certain shit together because this life shit is all based off of spiritual presence. You can't have life while spirituality involved in it, right? So spirituality has to be involved in the evolution of life. It has to be involved. Most people will understand that, most people won't, but this is what it is. It's not a lot of spiritual shit going on with certain people because they don't realize this. They don't realize metaphysics. Now, it was a different type of metaphysical atmosphere on the planet before our land was conquered by, or you could say infiltrated by these inorganic beings on the land. They used pale faces, right, to basically disguise themselves so we won't realize that these motherfuckers really look like us. This is when we talk about the dirty Moors. The dirty Moors is basically the motherfuckers that have our skin, but they're not us, right? They don't have our mindset. They don't think the way we think. They don't give a fuck about these kids because these I can't say too much because we on this YouTube shit. I had to fuck around and do something to my channel. But these motherfuckers don't care about the kids. They don't care about our our people getting our land back, getting our freedom back. They don't give a fuck. All they about is getting us, the organic beings, off the motherfucking land. That's all these motherfuckers care about, right? They don't give a fuck about nothing else. They look like you, but these motherfuckers is not you. Right? And they all around us. So these motherfuckers had to come onto our land and infiltrate our land. Right? They had to use certain things to be able to get us out of our shit. Jesus never existed. We was here way before that whole Jesus motherfucker came into the play. I explained before why they crucified Jesus on the cross. The reason why they crucified him and beat thorns into his head is because he had the consciousness of God, right? When they talk about Christ, Christ is consciousness. When you have Christ consciousness, the consciousness of God is manifested into your brain, right? So this is why you got your third eye. Your third eye will allow you to see past this physical realm and see into higher dimensions. Once you are able to see into higher dimensions, you will be able to look at certain people and know if they from here or if they're not from here. That's what your third eye is there for. That's why they call it your first eye, right? So he had the consciousness of his father, which would be God. And once he started to tap in to that consciousness of God, this is when these motherfuckers had a problem with him. They had a problem with him because he started to tell the truth, right? And tell these motherfuckers about who they are and how they can better themselves, because Jesus never told motherfuckers just to believe in him and only him and that's it. That's man-made. Your mind, your brain will never tell you just to believe in just the brain and not the whole body, because you have other parts of God on your motherfucking body. So that whole idea of, you know, Jesus being this whole savior and he's our Lord, all that's bullshit, right? So yo, invaders, they had to create this false god to be able to infiltrate our land and to lower us in energy, right? And then they brung certain things onto the land, right? Using a cross. A cross is still connected to us because the whole idea of that cross came from the Ankh. The top of the Ankh represents the woman's womb. The bottom of the Ankh represents the penis. That's the structure of life. You have to have the penis involved and you have to have the vagina involved. That's how life is created. But what they did, they took off the woman's uterus and just left a cross there. So it's basically just representing the man. Right? So this is why when you see a picture of a Catholic cross, you will see a little circle behind it that will represent the woman's uterus. So you took the real creator off of it and then put it behind, and then just put this so-called Jesus on that motherfucker, right? So even because they show you pictures of Christopher Columbus and his people wearing, or not wearing, but holding crosses and all that, trying to basically force that idea onto us that Jesus is real and all that old shit, but he ain't real. but still them holding that cross in their hand still represented something to us because we created that. They just took off the other half that made motherfuckers look like, all right, what the fuck is they on? This is how they had to infiltrate and manipulate our whole motherfucking land. But motherfuckers never really realized that. Motherfuckers is still going around thinking that the Unk is demonic. There's nothing demonic about the Unk. The Unk represents life. The cross don't represent shit. The regular Catholic Christian cross, that don't represent shit. Right? So I spoke on all this shit before, but I guess I gotta bring it back up. Cause it's a lot of other shit more I gotta put on to this shit. Now, the Spanish conquistadors, we know that they are the ones that invaded our land. The Spanish conquistadors will basically be the knights, right? They talk about the knights and all that, the knights of God and all that. Those basically are the Spanish conquistadors. Now let's think about this. We talk about languages and all this old shit. Where does language even come from? Right? They tell you that the original Spanish people came from Spain, right? Now, if that's true, then how the fuck are we, the gods and goddesses on the land, how the fuck is we speaking a language when these motherfuckers was considered that race before us? How we start speaking a language? What the fuck is speaking Spanish? Think about it. What the fuck is speaking Spanish? Because if you listen to a motherfucker speak Spanish, it sounds very European. It doesn't sound like anything that's organic to the earth, organic to the collective people. What I'm sitting here thinking, because I've been thinking about this shit for a couple days. What I'm sitting here thinking is that Spanish shit is all a spell. That's what I'm thinking. Because I don't believe that our people was sitting around speaking Spanish, because it don't fucking matter if you speaking Spanish or any type of language. It's all going to result back into English, right? So you speaking another language, you just put more emphasis in different type of tones on it to make it sound different, but the shit still gonna equal back into what you trying to say, and it's still gonna define into an English language of what you saying. So we got motherfuckers that's organic to the land calling themselves Puerto Rican, right? You calling yourself Puerto Rican, but it's nothing Puerto Rican about you. Yeah, we come from an island, right? Because Puerto Rico is on an island, but that doesn't mean that we was some Puerto Rican or Spanish speaking motherfuckers just because we was on that island, right? Because Christopher Columbus and all them in the Spanish conquistadors, they all was together, right, to try to get at us and divide us, right? So dividing meaning making us be something else that we not. We are one. You don't speak, we as the beings of the earth, we don't speak a language. The only language we speak is the language of the earth. You have wind talkers, you have air talkers, and I believe you have river talkers. Right? They told you that with the Indians, right? That they used to wind talk, right? So they used to talk based off the tone of the wind, right? And this is the things that they used to do back then. Now, think about how the $5 Indians talk today, right? My people, I come from the Navajo tribe. You see how they talk? You ever pay attention to the way they talk? That's wind talking. But all that shit came from us, though. The reason why we wind talking is because we connected with the wind, right? You have the 5 elements: water, fire, air, earth, and spirit. Some would say wind. We connected with every element on the motherfucking planet. So once you understand these elements, now you can speak the vibration and the tone of that element. Why the fuck will we speak Spanish when we could just speak the the language and the tone of the earth? That don't make sense. All that's meaning is that this Spanish shit, that Spanish speaking shit came from our invaders. That's not our regular tone of speaking. That's not our shit. That's all that means. That's not our shit. Right? And then think about the culture. Think about the culture that a lot of these languages bring. It brings the food, right? The type of lifestyle. A lot of the food that motherfuckers is eating related to the certain race that they think they are. That's not even the food that we was eating anciently. We wasn't eating rice and beans and shit and potatoes and shit, sauerkraut, chitlins. We wasn't eating none of that shit. They talk about the Indians, they was eating corn. Yeah, we was eating corn. We was eating shit like that. But all this other shit we was never eating. You see where I'm going with this shit. I ain't just saying some shit. You see where I'm going with this shit. These motherfuckers, they infiltrated every part of who we are to get us to the point to where we don't know what the fuck we are. The food, the culture, we don't know what we is. We don't know what the fuck we is. So you going around, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, or I'm Jamaican, or I'm this, or nigga, you none of that. You are organic to the land. That's what you are. That's all you is an organic being to the motherfucking land. Now, since we on the subject of language and speaking, think about right here in America. You say you from California, right? Chicago, New York, Baltimore, Philly. If you think about it, we all have the same language. That we all have the same type of country, Southern language. The reason why we damn near all have the same language is because we part of the same tribe, right? We all are a part of the same tribe. Why the fuck would you be a part of a tribe but you speak in other languages that's not a part of the tribe that you in? That don't make sense. So if my tribe speaking the language and the tone of the earth, why the fuck would I be speaking some other shit that doesn't come from the earth, that don't make sense. It don't make no motherfucking sense. That's why I said, so motherfuckers out here going off one thing when you really need to be sitting down and thinking about what the fuck you saying. That's not our shit. That's Spanish, Puerto Rican shit, all this other, that's not your shit. It never was your shit. But these motherfuckers got you thinking that that's your shit. What's the most popular language to speak? Spanish. That's the most popular language to speak is Spanish. That's not your shit. But it's the most popular. Right? They be having these youngins in school taking Spanish classes, learning that shit. But for what? Why am I speaking a language that doesn't come from my people? Why am I speaking this language? This is the language of the fucking invader. I don't want to speak the language of my fucking invader, nigga. I'ma speak my regular, normal language, which is how I speak. Speaking, speaking the energy of the air, speaking the wind, speaking the energy of the waters of the ocean, speaking the energy of the sun. That's what I'm gonna speak. I don't know all that Spanish shit. That shit doesn't connect to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Where the fuck do where I come from gotta do with a language I gotta speak? That don't make sense to me. That never made sense to me. Right? That never made sense to me. Who the fuck is creating all these different languages? Where did all these different languages originate from? You talk about a Creole person is a person that's French and half, I believe, half Haitian. How is that possible when the Haitians won the war? How is that possible? So y'all believe that the French was able to come on to come to Haiti and rape the women and children in Haiti. That's bullshit. What the fuck is it? What the fuck is a Creole? What the fuck is that? The reason why motherfuckers is coming out of a certain pigment is because the energy in the atmosphere is not at its natural state anymore. So that's why the only pigment we appear to be is brown, lighter brown or darker brown, because of the atmosphere and them spraying chemtrails and having us breathing in oxygen when we should be breathing in hydrogen. This is why we appear to be the skin pigment, but we shouldn't even be this skin pigment. So how the fuck can you call a goddess a Creole, right? Call a goddess a Creole when that's not what the fuck she is. She ain't no Creole. She ain't no African woman. She ain't none of that shit. She's a goddess to the land. You trying to, you trying to give her the genetics and the gene of her oppressor. But these motherfuckers was not even able to be all in hay like that because of the war. So, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? You just identifying somebody as something else just to try to mix up our people, so we don't know who the fuck we are. That's all you doing. You have to see. You have to see. You have to see through the shit. You have to realize how they changed the whole atmosphere of what we are. You have to see through it. So they gave us a fake God, a fake religion, and then started to make us speak different languages and try to make their languages our very own when that's not our language. That's not the shit that we naturally speak. Right? That's not the language that we speak. Ask your ancestors about this shit. I ain't just saying shit. Ask your ancestors about this shit. They'll tell you. This is the shit that we have never realized. Right? Go listen to a $5 Indian how they talk. They gonna sound the same way I sounded. The same way. They speak in the way we naturally should be speaking. Right? So they teaching these motherfuckers how to be us. And we trying to be niggas. Africans. Which that's not what the fuck we is. Right? That's not what you are. Even if you from Africa, you still not an African. You still are in a indigenous being to the land. That's what you is. You ain't African. There's no such thing as an African. You indigenous. When the war, when we was in war with what you call now the United States, nigga, we wasn't speaking no other type of different languages. We was speaking the way I'm speaking right now. That's how we was speaking. Or some of us, we didn't even speak out loud, like I told you. A lot of us use telepathic communication, right? A lot of us use telepathic communication, so some of us really didn't talk out loud. But even when we did talk out loud, we didn't speak all this other shit. The regular language is the language that we call American. That's your normal language. But it's not necessarily a language, it's just what it is. All right? You see country people down south, they a man, a say man. That's not that's not necessarily an accent. They speaking based off the environment that they are around. That's not an accent. right? This is the things that a lot of our people don't really realize and take in consideration to. They had to manipulate everything that we are to where we don't realize, like I said, we don't realize what the fuck we are. So even if you claim you woke or claim you conscious, all this shit is still a higher level of consciousness you have to reach, right? You have to reach a higher level of consciousness to realize what the fuck you are. So you going around, oh, I'm Puerto Rican, oh, I'm Mexican, oh, I'm Blasian, I'm black and I'm Asian, I'm all this. So that ain't what the fuck you is. And then they give you these languages and you think that's not your shit. That's some colonization shit. That's not your language. You need to be speaking the real tone. Speak the tone of the air. Speak the tone of the wind, of the waters, the ocean. Speak that tone. But in order to speak that tone, you have to learn the elements. Once you learn the elements, then you will be able to speak the tone of the elements. Listen to Tupac. What was Tupac? Tupac was a wind talker. Listen to it. Do the wobs, do the waves. Wind talker. Go listen to him. Come with me. Hail Mary, have here now. Now listen to when that motherfucker blowing hard sound just like that. That's all that's what I'm saying. Motherfucker be out here claiming they woke, nigga. You ain't woke to shit. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Go listen to Tupac. Go listen to the $5 Indians and you understand what I'm saying. But I'm telling you what the fuck I'm telling you though. This ain't no made up shit. Understand what you are. Stop labeling yourself this other shit that these motherfuckers is making up or made up a couple centuries ago. Cause a lot of this shit didn't happen too long ago, to where they colonize our land and start doing certain shit they was doing to us. This shit wasn't too long ago. Right? It wasn't too long ago, so you have to see between the lines. Study these languages, be like, all right, what the fuck is speaking in French accent? What the fuck is speaking Spanish? What the fuck is speaking African or Swahili? Motherfuckers claim they African, but you don't speak no African language. What nigga you from right here. Motherfuckers in America be like, oh, we African. All right, nigga, speak some African language. You don't know no African language because that ain't where the fuck you come from. That ain't your shit. You speak exactly the way you supposed to speak right here, nigga. American. All right? That ain't your shit. There's no such thing as a language. That doesn't exist within our people. That don't exist. It Right, cause you got Puerto Rican motherfuckers out here that's Puerto Rican, come from so-called Puerto Rico, but don't know a bit of Spanish. Took Spanish classes, learned that or heard that shit around the house, but they still never picked up on it. Cause some in them realizes that that's not they shit. That shit doesn't sound normal. It's not organic to the land. It's not they shit. That's a fact. It's a lot of Puerto Rican motherfuckers around here. Puerto Rican like a motherfucker. Don't know a bit of Spanish. Don't know even how to speak that shit. Don't not know not one language. Don't know how to say anything in Spanish. Why is that? And not looking to learn the Spanish language. Why is that? Because motherfuckers know they ain't their shit. It's no use of speaking that shit. Cause that was not what your ancestors were speaking. So if we using telepathic communication, speaking to each other through energy, through consciousness, you think that shit is signaling a Spanish language? Hell no, it's a regular tone that you can understand. Because if I come talk to one guy in a certain language that he don't understand, then the message won't get delivered. Which gonna have God off because he don't know what the fuck I'm saying. What you sound like is a fucking colonizer. Cause if you was really a part of the motherfucking land, you would speak the same language I speak. So you coming to me with this Spanish shit, all this, giving them all that old shit, nigga. You a colonizer. You ain't our people. You speaking some bullshit. I've never heard that shit before. I'm speaking earth energy. I don't know what the fuck that shit come from. What the fuck is that? You have to rethink what you are, rethink the shit that you have been told. It's a reason why they have classes with shit like that with certain language, and they be wanting these kids to take these certain classes to learn that language because they want these kids to be speaking some dumb shit that don't come from them. Motherfucker, cause I'm considered to be a Puerto Rican cause my mother's father is a Puerto Rican, but I'm not a Puerto Rican. I will never claim to be that ever again because that ain't my shit. That's some colonization shit. That's not my shit. But you got these Spanish or Puerto Rican motherfuckers walking around, right? Eating pastelillos and all that shit, rice and beans, right? Thinking that that's their culture. That's what they was doing. Actually, you was never doing that shit. That wasn't you. Your people was never doing that shit. Sorry to tell you that, but that's not your culture. We ain't no but me, pastelillo eating motherfuckers. We ain't no Spanish speaking motherfuckers. We don't speak any language that don't relate to the planet. We don't do that. Tell me I'm wrong. There's no science. There's no science that can prove that speaking other languages is important to this modern day society. There's no science. We as a people, as a human human society, we don't even really know where language come from. We don't know where the fuck this shit come from. We don't know where this shit came from. Motherfuckers be claiming they speaking in tongues. All right, let's talk about speaking in tongues. Since we on the tongue language. Okay, so you claim you speaking in tongues, right? But then when you ask one of the motherfuckers, okay, what was you speaking? Oh well, I'm not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know what language you speak. What the fuck you mean? I ain't supposed to know what language I was speaking. Oh well, cause that's between you and God. You ain't nigga. Fuck that. I want to know what the fuck I'm saying because a lot of motherfuckers can say certain shit they can translate to what motherfuckers, but motherfuckers really don't even translate to what motherfuckers saying when they speaking in tongues. So if I'm speaking in tongues or I'm speaking Hebrew or I'm speaking the word of God, but then after I'm done speaking, I don't know what I said, and then I'm not able to research what I said, then that's not no motherfucking God language that you speaking. That's not no language. You speaking some bullshit. So if I'm speaking Spanish, but I don't know where the fuck it came from or who started this language or where it really originated from, then that's not my shit. I'm tongue twisted. That's all that can mean. I'm speaking some shit that I don't even know. I don't even know where this shit came from, but I'm speaking it. I was just told that this is my language or this is some shit that my people, this is some shit that my people talk like, but I don't really know where it came from. This is the way my people talk, but I don't really know where it came from. So when we get down into the science of metaphysics, you have to be able to understand you are God, God is you, and then you have to be able to understand and speak the language of God the correct way. And speaking the language of God is speaking the language of the earth. So a lot of us ain't speaking the language of the earth. A lot of us are speaking some other shit that we have no knowing of, have no knowledge of. Right? We don't have no motherfucking knowledge of the shit that we really saying, but we claiming that's our shit. That ain't your shit. And that was your shit. Never was your shit. When you hear a motherfucker from down south, when you listening to a motherfucker that's so called from the south, when you hear them talk, it sound pure, right? They sound country, southern, but it sound pure. It sound like something that comes from right here, the earth. It don't sound like nothing that's colonized. It sound natural, organic. But when you hear a motherfucker speaking Spanish and all this other shit, it don't sound normal. It don't sound like our shit. I've realized this because I understand the elements. This is why I realize this shit. A lot of people wouldn't realize it because they don't understand the elements. You can speak the element of fire, you can speak the element of air, earth, water, you can speak those elements. But you have to learn those elements. Right? That's speaking the word of God, speaking the elements into existence through your body. Cause you are an element. Certain elements represent certain beings on the land. Certain beings elements is the earth. Certain beings elements is water. Certain beings elements is fire. Certain beings elements is spirit. Right? Everybody have their own element that they soul connects to. So this is why certain people, when they doing their spiritual work, a lot of people may not do what other people's doing. Certain people may not do that much astral work because they came here to connect more with the earth. They done all their astral work. Now they come down here, they trying to connect with the earth more. They trying to connect with the physical plane more. But they know how to position themselves to where they're connected with the physical plane and they connected with the space or connected with the cosmos, the universe, whatever you want to call it. That's a fact. So when you getting in to this metaphysics, right? Branches of religion, elements, and a lot of other things, you have to be able to put the shit together and realize what this shit is, and then you have to pay attention to how this shit is manifested without. All right, they tricked all of us. They manipulated a lot of shit. So we as a people, we starting to get to a certain place, but you still got a lot of people that's still stuck in the bullshit, right? And a lot of us, we, don't really take it as anything that, oh, it ain't really that serious. But no, it's serious. You have to get out of any type of spell that was casted upon you and our people as a collective unit to reach your highest self, reach your highest purpose, your highest principle. Get out of the bullshit, right? You have to get out the bullshit so you can get to a point to where you know what you doing. You know what you need to be doing for yourself. Let go of the bullshit. Cause if you listen to certain motherfuckers when they speaking that Spanish shit, it should sound like gibberish. It should sound like gibberish, like motherfucker. You be like, what the fuck is this motherfucker saying? Certain motherfuckers be impressed by it, but to me, it just it sounds very gibberish. It don't sound like no normal shit. Like I said, cause I've been studying Spanish and studying other languages. I've been studying them, right? So I study the language, and then I study the words, right? And how to use the words in that certain language. And when I do that, I learn how to say it, and then when I say it, it just don't sound right. It sound like some shit that came from another source that's not our own. It sound like some bullshit. Right? It's some bullshit. All right, so you gotta tap into yourself more, and learn about this shit and understand this shit. They colonize every part of who the fuck we are. Every part of who the fuck we are, they colonized. They changed it around and put their own shit on it. And these certain beings had still had God powers to where they was able to manipulate our spiritual system and what we had on the land spiritually. They was able to turn certain shit around. Certain motherfuckers have told you the same shit I'm telling you now. Rashad Jamal told you. It ain't nothing really different between a Haitian and a Puerto Rican. The flags down there look the same. Most flags that we have here are red, right? Who was the motherfuckers with the red coloring on their shit? The Spanish conquistadors. The motherfuckers that infiltrated our land. So you see that red and a lot of these flags, that means that that's their shit. Meaning that they took your shit and put their own shit on it, right? And then you try to speak the language of some shit that didn't come from you. You say everything come together, how make everything make sense. You speaking some shit that ain't you. This ain't your shit. We all we all speak the same motherfucking language, which is the language of the earth. That's what we speak. We ain't no Puerto Rican, no French, no wherever you want to all that other shit. We nah. Language of the earth. You can speak the language of the trees, all that, if you tap in with it. Cause everything on the land speaks to you. And you can speak back to it. right? This is what it is. This is what it is, man. This is some shit, like I said, this is some things that we as a collective people never realized and never paid attention to. So this information has been lingering in me, and now, I have connected the dots with this shit and realizing that this shit is not our shit. You claim that you Puerto Rican or you or Jamaican, you all this old shit. Ask your OGs in your family, whether if it's your grandmother, grandfather, if they still alive. Ask them where your little accent came from. Where did it originate from? They ain't gonna be able to say where it came from. They ain't gonna be able to say where that shit came from. So if we can't explain where our shit came from, then that's not our shit. That's the only thing that can mean. It's not our shit. If we don't know where it came from, that's not our shit. That's not organic to the land. This is why you got motherfuckers around here that be making up their own gods. You got a Italian god or a Italian Jesus. You have a Puerto Rican Jesus. You have all different type of Jesuses out here, but it's only supposed to be one God. So why you as a person, why are you making him to be related to your culture? You see that? You see that? You see how that don't make sense? So basically, your Jesus, your God speaks Spanish to you. The fuck? Nigga, that don't even make sense. So what the one in America speak? What the one in Haiti speak? What the one in China speak? Oh, so they're gods, they speak their language too. That don't even fucking make sense. Your God should speak one language that everybody can understand. Not no bullshit. He should only be able to speak the language that everybody can understand. Oh, so he designed, I'm gonna make you Puerto Rican, or I'm gonna make you Jamaican, or I'm gonna make you, I'm gonna make you African, I'm gonna make you come from America. Why is he designing you a certain way and then giving you a certain language to speak? Why he doing all this? What, why you doing all that? What's all that about, bro? That shit don't make sense to me. What's all that about? Because we know Jesus ain't real. He's an illusion. You are God, God is you. You are your own savior. So by you going to church every day and investing into this bullshit, all you doing is lowering your vibration because you're going against yourself. If you're going against yourself, then you vibrate low. Knowing self and getting to the highest point of self is having self belief and uh, being encouraged with oneself. Right? So, like I said about Christ consciousness, after he activated the consciousness of his Father, which is God, he had to have the self belief and the self will to be able to believe in his teachings. Right? So, after he started to activate the consciousness and then started to believe in his teachings, you know, believe in the information. Let's say he believe in the information that he had. Then that's when he went and taught it to the people. Right? That's what it is. So he had to master self. He had to learn who he was. There's no proof to show that your ancestors were speaking all this old other shit. There's no proof. If there's proof out here, show it to me. Show it to me. The first thing the first language that I ever spoke was the language I've been speaking my whole life, which is this shit right here. I've never spoke any other language a day in my life. I started learning different languages, but I never was speaking all these other languages. Not right out the room, hell no. Right, so you speaking some shit you don't know of, and then the shit that you speaking you don't know of is causing you to not understand your culture and where you really come from. So that's where you have an error and you need to try to fix the problem. All right. Your soul, your soul is who you is. You are not the body. Your soul has information. So you have to tap into the soul. Once you tap into the soul, that's when you're gonna know all about yourself and know who you is and where you come from. Understand what you are and who you are. It's been a lot of bullshit that they didn't told you, that they done placed on you, and then they cast this spell onto us to make us believe in this shit and go by this shit and make this who he is, but that ain't who he is. Alright, so with that being said, I'm about to go ahead and get off here. Um, Peace to the goddesses once again. Peace to the gods. Uh, Peace to the ancestors once again. Um, I'm gonna probably be teaching again tomorrow, touching on some things tomorrow. I'm hearing from the ancestors to talk about LA, talk about certain things in LA. So I may come with that information tomorrow, talk about LA, talk about the energy out there, with what's going on out there. So yeah. That being said, Chief Domain, Law and Speech, aka Chief Fear is Red, and I'm out this bitch. Peace.